Transferring. All right, just now we learned about the network, right? How the infrastructure of this internet, all right, how this network actually connect. Now we look at the transferring itself, all right. To transfer, there must be a starting point, all right. There must be a starting point for you to transfer. So each of these devices, all right, each of these devices, if you connect to a cable, okay, if you connect to a cable, you will connect. If you connect to a cable, each of these devices will be recognized by their own unique properties, all right, or the address, where we call it the internet protocol, all right, IP. Is it correct? Is it internet protocol, IP? Don't know. All right, you need to search them up. All right. So basically, if you open up your device, okay, let's say my device, you see this is connected to the Wi-Fi, right? Let me unconnect. Okay, this is connected to the Wi-Fi, right? If you connect to the Wi-Fi, means you connect to the network. Right? If you connect to a network, your device will have a IP address. Okay, and there are two types of IP address. One is the private and one is the public. Private IP address, it falls inside your house, okay? So anything in between the local network, all right, connect within your house before going to the internet networking connectivity, it will be private. So it will be recognized privately. And when you connect to the internet or go through the ISP, internet service provider, it will be read as the public connection. So this is a unique identifier for a device on a network. All right, this is the definition. We have over here two types. One is IP4 and IP version 6. And you can see this is the one that you usually look at, right? There's like 4 digits, and these 4 digits will be the one that connect to that place. All right, this 4 digit over here. But in the newer version, the number 6, it will be like this. So there's a pro and cons. I will not touch them in detail, but I just want you to know that there's two type of IP. These are basically the address. Okay, your devices have some address. All right. Have an address or one address. Okay, they only have one address. And to link to another computer and then to link to that specific, let's say, information or the web page, all right, to link to that web page, we need to use this IP, all right. We need to enter this IP so that we can dial this and then we can go to that computer. However, in reality, we don't use this one, right? We don't use this numbers. We will use what we call the domain name system, DNS. Okay, domain name system is the one that you know. All right. For example, over here, YouTube.com. All right, YouTube.com is an example of a domain name. So this domain name will be assigned with it's the opposite, all right? This IP address, all right, will be assigned with this domain name, so that us, the user, don't have to memorize this IP to log on to YouTube, all right? We just type the YouTube, and then this domain name system, all right, act as a phone book. They will check what is this domain name, and it will redirect us to this IP address. All right, this is how the transferring the starting point. Right, this is the starting point. How we locate between the network. Now, remember, this now is the structure, right? The infrastructure, how the network is, and now we are moving into how the informations in between the network is recognized and how they has been translated from the IP address to the DNS. And over here you can see this is the process whenever we type in YouTube to the browser. First, it will go through the DNS resolver. DNS resolver means the domain name system resolver. Over here, usually is your IPS. Your internet service provider will be the one that will take your it will take your domain, the name that you enter. They will check, and if they don't know what it is, if they know what it is, then they will straight away go to here. All right. But if they don't know what it is, then they will go back to the root server. So the root server look at the .com over here. All right. The .com over here. Then from the root server, they will contact the top level domain. They'll contact the top level domain of the .com or .mine, all right? Then they will ask for the authoritative name server. Then only they will retrieve this IP. Simple as that, right? This is just the mechanism that we don't see usually. And then this is very important. Not now, all right, not now. In the future, when you learn about VPN, when you learn about hackers, when you learn about computer frauds, all right, which is in your level 2. These are the basic knowledge that will build up the future knowledge, right? So you skip this one, you go to the next step, then you might be questioning, what is this, what is this, what is that, all right? Then you'll be confused. And over here, to communicate between these two networks, there must be a rules, all right? You cannot communicate simply by one computer with another computer. They don't simply communicate, all right? They don't simply link. There must be a rule. All right, I still got 1 more minute. All right, let me just zoom through over here. There must be a rule. We call it protocol, the internet protocol. IP, that's the internet protocol. But over here, there's another protocol where is a set of rules that computer follows to communicate. How to communicate in terms of what? All right, communicate in terms of how to start and end conversation. It means how the information is transferred, how the conversation should be start and end, the structure and interpretation of data. These are very details, all right? Just now we learned the start point and the end point, right? I mean the IP address, which is how the two network is established, right? The postal code of these two computers. And then how these two computers or devices will communicate, all right? There is different types of protocol over here. One is the TCP, another one is the UDP. TCP is the transmission control protocol. This is stable. This is fast. User datagram protocol. I'll not go into detail there. In the study kit, there are some details over there, or you can search them online. But TCP over here basically is okay. That is the time up, right? TCP over here is basically you transfer file. Just bear with me, like maybe 5 minutes. Can you give me 5 minutes? All right. TCP over here is stable. Basically, when you transfer files, you will use TCP. UDP is when you want to stream movies, when you want to watch movies, when you want to play games, you will use UDP. How communicate, basically how two devices communicate. Okay, they will go through this different protocol. All right, how they communicate. And over here is the example of how the items or how the documents is being transferred. All right, you don't transfer the data. For example, over here, right? If you go up over here, you don't transfer this data straight away by one piece. All right, you will break them down into what we call packets. All right, you'll break them down into packets, and as you can see, it actually this is the IDA, and then it will be broken down into 4 packets, and then it will be sent to your friend or someone else. All right, and this there is actually HTTPS. You can go and look up by yourself. All right, on how these things work. Basically, when you want to communicate to another one, then there's you will actually go through TCP over here. You will break down the data. There's the IP address over here, sent to this over here IP address. You will check the DNS and then maybe they will reverse back. All right, then how the information will be transmitted through this one, through a certain protocol. And then here's the key takeaway. All right, this is the end already. And this is the end. Every device on the network requires unique IP address to send or receive data. Okay, data is broken into packets before transmission, each with its own header and routine information. Packets, right? Packets. They have the header and the routine information. Then protocol like TCP ensure the data is, okay, this one is to ensure the data is sent correctly and efficiently. The one that we talk about over here, that I zoom through very fast. And then the DNS translate, they basically translate the domain names into the IP address, okay? Then data travel through multiple network hoops and routers. All right, this one is the infrastructure. We go back to the infrastructure, okay? And finally, the internet is a complex but structured system that enables seamless data exchange globally. All right, I think that's it for today. Hopefully, you learned something about the network. This is the concept by itself, all right, the mechanism, very brief concept mechanism of a network. But the application in accounting, you know them, right? Now you can access the internet, through internet you can record and transfer the data. And by right, thank you all for coming today to the class. You can attend, you can write the forum, all right, I just update the forum for today's attendance, okay? That's all from me. Thank you.